Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, it's me again. I need to add that all the narrative which transpires this afternoon, including the results of the upcoming workshop, will be captured in a document which we have entitled RTM Description, and this will be available in due course from the ACCSEAS project. It's in progress, but it's not yet finished. Right, I will take on the shore perspective now and look at the shore side, and as you can see, that's a Kiel Canal with a little bit of traffic in it. So I'm coming from the shore side this time, and I would like to talk about the support of RTM for the traffic flow, and I would start with the Trans-European network, the maritime side of it, and of course looking into the North Sea region. And then I would propose a class of shipping lane, or different classes of shipping lane, taking up not only the motorways of the seas, and of course, last but not least, looking similarly like Stefan did on the benefits. Well, let's start with these two pictures. I retrieved those from 10 Trans-European network documents, recent ones. And what you see on the left-hand side is the picture of the motorways and the one motorway of the seas in our quarters, number 21. It's identified, it's going through the English Channel, Skagerrak, the Kiel Canal, two entrances to the Baltic. But what over here? It's disappearing. Then I retrieved another drawing from another document in this regard, discussing also economical issues. And it's slightly more detailed. You see all the well-known ports and stuff. And again, Skagerrak, Kiel Canal, Baltic Sea, and the Atlantic. But again, look at the traffic. It goes straight in the middle of the North Sea just to get along the British coast. And over here, they forgot the most important part. So that may be also qualified as an artist's impression, maybe. Well, that was a 10T top level network topology in Europe as of state of the art. And that's the other end of the agenda. That's the Inspire Directive. John Morton will talk in more detail about this later on. But here you see the opposite. Here we have a fully developed route topology model, if you will, with the shore side. And of course they eventually recognize, oh, there's a ferry, oh, there's a port. We need to do something about this intermodal stuff. And this is their token to say, okay, there must be a connection. See, that's this dotted arrow. And of course then they identified, oops, there is something going abroad. So that's a very much surveyor-centric view, and it's a land view of what is going on the waterways. And of course that's the reason why they have in focus the inland waterways. But that is European law. Inspire Directive stipulates member states to set up this kind of data structure. And they are now in the discussion to set up something which is called transport networks. It's a dedicated module in this regard. And that is something where we should better take an eye on. Well, again, as was introduced already previously, this is the map of the motorways of the seas we developed together, and this would be just a little bit of the junctions we identified. As I said earlier, and Stefan amplified this, we have all the coordinates, and so that would provide the missing gap, actually. Let's zoom in to show this in a little bit more detail. This would be the part of the coast of Netherlands, of the coast of Germany, Kiel Canal to the Baltic Sea. That would be the part around Jutland Peninsula. This will be available with all the different coordinates in this bespoke document after the project. So that would be our project conclusions, our project contribution to that situation. Right, so what we can do after this, I didn't manage to put those different figures together in one slide, but I guess you can capture the idea. Here we are with the shore or the land Trans-European network grid. You see the major motorways You see the major rail connections, and of course the ports are identified, but what in here? It's not in the map. And that you can retrieve right now from some website showing this 10 network. So if you overlay this, and I try to fit in more or less exactly, so that it may fit, and this is how it may look like in this way. And I think that's a worthwhile contribution to the European network environment, to really have a solid base on discussions, to get rid of the fuzzy artwork thing we saw previously. Well, and what will we do with all the other routes and lanes we have identified and not classified as motorways of the seas, because they carry really the bulk of the load? This is a picture Stefan showed previously. We still need to take care of those, and there comes in the proposal, okay, we have a top level of motorways of the seas, whatever makes up a motorway. That would be an interesting discussion in itself. What is the difference between a motorway on the land with an ordinary road? There are certain distinctions, of course. What does that mean in terms of services provided at sea? What does motorway would mean at sea? As opposed to, let's say, roads of the sea. We take on the analogy of the land traffic and say, okay, roads of the sea would be shipping lanes other than motorways of the sea, relevant for professional and commercial shipping, including ferry routes, offshore plant traffic, and whatever is professional. So that could be the next level, and well, that could, by analogy, in the land mobile sector, be compared with, let's say, national roads or something like this. And then we have, last but not least, what we say trails of the sea, or we could as well say small craft shipping lanes, but maybe trails of the sea would be more appropriate to the analogy. All other shipping lanes, in particular those only available due to physical dimension for small craft such as pleasure crafts. So that could be to capture whatever is to be captured. There are routes as well, and some of which are relevant because they end up in mariners crossing or sailing across motorways and so forth. So the idea is that the fully developed route topology model eventually captures all of those, but as introduced by Stefan already, that attributes qualify the different levels and introduce certain distinctions. And why 3? Well, humans tend to have 3 as an easy to remember figure. So, well, of course there could be 5, why not? So that's just our proposal. Right, looking for the benefits. And I'm looking at it from the shore side as that traffic organization could be done with this from a VTS. So the question is, how can we better deconflict traffic situation? We remember the challenges we shall meet in the future. So 2 questions. Where are all the vessels? And here comes in handy the London tube map. We don't need to have all the topology details, but we rather need to have the legs and the junctions and the nodes only. And if we attach, something is not working here. So if we attach, it's not working anymore.
Use your fingers.
Yes. The vessels, as we receive their position reports to legs or nodes, then we have a full traffic image without having to consider all the topographical detail. So the idea is this could be a 2-dimensional wait time diagram which would assist in a new variety of traffic organization service, which is a well-recognized service within the VTS. Please remember, this is a German waters, which is not talking deliberately about VTS beyond national waters at this stage. But Peter made the point earlier that this is under discussion. So this could be also discussed in a larger sea area like the North Sea at large. Doesn't work anymore at all. Please, next slide. Right, and the same logic as introduced by Stefan in the previous presentations holds true for the shore side as well. We would also have a more precise ETA, ETB estimations. We could do better planning for the traffic organization, but also for advice and whatever other VTS services. And of course, again, transparency for all involved in the logistic chain, this time the allied services and ports services and so forth. We have seen a lot of those services, by the way, in the maritime service portfolio list Peter presented in the first presentation. Next slide, please. Well, and this brings me to another application of the route topology model, this time again also by analogy with the land mobile sector. I'll try this again. We have the legs, the nodes, and now the question is not what the traffic is, but what the services are. So this I retrieved in some booklet for the motorist. You have the motorway, all the junctions, all the different legs, and associated with those is in little numbers given the services available, like gasoline, like hotels, whatever. So that idea, and by the way, that is available for all of Europe, for the major routes. So the same idea could hold true for the maritime sector. We have this kind of tube map, if you will, route topology, and associated with it, of course in an electronic way, but here it's printed, the service is provided. And that is maybe a very smart idea to apply the upcoming concept of the maritime service portfolios not only to a blanket coverage, like we heard in Peter's presentation is the intention of IMO, but also to a route topology model. Say exactly, at this node you can expect that service level, at that leg you can expect this service level, and also using the different classes we can differentiate between motorways, roads and trails, if that would be necessary. I guess that's it on this. Maybe the next slide. Phil? Okay. Thank you very much indeed.